Good morning. It's live 107.3 Med in the morning, Thursday morning, and the biggest and best wrestling action comes your way every Thursday night on Access TV in the US, Impact Plus here in the UK. Of course, Impact Plus, the only place to see brand new episodes of Impact Wrestling every single week. And as it stands right now, we are just shy of 1 month away from Impact Wrestling Emergence, the next Impact Plus exclusive event, which will see the Impact Wrestling Championship on the line. Josh Alexander defending against one half of the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley, Maya Yim facing Jordan Grace for the Knockouts title. And what I am already predicting could be one of the tag team matches of the year. Vexed, Deonna Purrazzo and Chelsea Green take on the Impact Knockouts tag team champions of Rosemary. And my guest at this time, let's say very good morning to Taya Valkerie. Good morning, Taya. How are you?
Good morning. How are you guys?
I'm grand. I'm excited. I am getting psyched. I mean, this has been an amazing year. If we didn't think Impact Wrestling could have got any better following the phenomenal couple of years it's had, 2020 coming into 2021, 2022 has been on fire. And I'm not going to pin this all on you here, but, you know, since you arrived back at Multiverse of Matches, it just seems to have gone to the next level.
I mean, you can blame it on me. No, it's so wonderful to be back in the Impact Zone. Impact has been a part of my life, and I consider them family for several years now. So it felt really great to come back, you know, at the Multiverse of Matches, and now being the World Knockout Tag Team Champions with Rosemary. I mean, how does it get any better than this?
Well, how about this? How about you're the not only one half of the Impact Tag Team Champions, you're also the AAA Reina de Reinas champion as well, which, you know, two belts, Taya.
It's actually, I'm also the MLW Women's Champion and the XPW Women's Champion.
It goes on and on.
I've had a phenomenal year. It all comes obviously with a ton of hard work and dedication, and just not only having to prove something to the fans, but prove something to myself. So I'm very blessed. I know that's a very cliche word to say, but very blessed and just happy to be where I am and happy to be doing what I love. And wrestling is my passion. It feeds my soul. So to be doing it on this level, at this level, it's incredible.
I mean, you say that. I mean, it has been a phenomenal year for yourself. You came back into Impact Wrestling, and you made a statement right away challenging Deonna Purrazzo for that. And Deonna, many would argue, has been on top of the women's wrestling scene the past couple of years. Why straight? I mean, you could have taken an easy way back into this. You could have eased yourself back into the Impact Zone, back into the light picture. But to come straight out there and just plant that flag, was that at the forefront of your mind? This is what I need to do to say I am back in the big time. Because let's face it, Impact Wrestling has been at the forefront of women's wrestling for almost, I'm going to say, at least 10 of its 20 years of existence.
Yeah, I mean, I never ever do things the easy way. Let's be real. Let's look at my career so far. So, I mean, the Reina Reinas Championship has a huge importance in my life, my career. AAA and I have worked together for, you know, over a decade now. So, of course, I had to go back and have a touchy target on her back. Let's be real. So I had to come in there and guns a-blazing and go after something that I'd never lost. I never lost the Reina Reinas Championship, and now I'm in my fourth and, you know, historically tying Fabi Apache for the most reigns in the history of Lucha Libre AAA. So I consider myself the face of that company. I consider myself someone who represents professional wrestling, women's wrestling, Lucha Libre at a worldwide level. So I'm honored to be carrying the Reina Reinas Championship again. And also, you know, being a tag champion with Rosemary is just iconic AF. And it was something that had to be done. Like, everything that I'm doing right now is just the exclamation point at the end of the sentence for me. And I'm just going to continue to do what I'm doing.
I mean, it's been really interesting. You have been a singles wrestler for the bulk of your career. Also, this is you in your first reign as an Impact Wrestling Knockouts Tag Team Champion. I often ask this to the guys when I speak to them who've made the move from one style of wrestling to the other. How difficult is it to actually flip between the singles and the tag team psychology and the mindset, especially when somebody like yourself is defending titles, is wrestling in multiple promotions all around the world, all those different styles as well? How easy, or rather how difficult is it to adapt?
I think at first it was difficult just because I also, because of Lucha Libre, the tag style in Mexico is completely different than the tag style is in the States and in Europe and Canada and everything. So at first it was a little bit difficult, but everybody has to realize that I have the best cheat sheet in the world, which is John Morrison, John Hennigan, Johnny Valkyrie as my, husband. So, and he has multiple title reigns as tag team champion. So he really helped me kind of like just feel more comfortable with that, and watched a lot of tapes and studied a lot of people. And, Rosemary and I were doing tag team matches before I left Impact. And so it's really great to be back and be with someone who I have so much chemistry with, who I respect so highly, creatively and in the ring. So I feel now very, very comfortable in the tag team style. I definitely have my brain's always coming up with new ideas and doing different things. And so I'm very excited to be defending these world tag team championships at Emergence versus Vex, two people that I know very well. Obviously, I have a long history with Deonna Purrazzo. Chelsea and I have been friends for many years. We're both from the same hometown. I'm very excited. I know they're coming in guns a-blazing as well and ready to get what they say they deserve, but they are not Ragnarok.
Most definitely not. But you mentioned that. I mean, if you look at it on paper, coming into Emergence here, we have arguably the 4 finest female wrestlers in the game today. It could be, and I'm not wanting to put too much pressure on here, but I've already said it. I think it could not only be one of the tag team matches of the year, it could be one of the matches of the year. Certainly, as we move into the back end, we start to look at what will be in those rankings. How much pressure does that put on you? Do you listen to what people like myself in the media say that when we build it up to be something like that? Because you should have an outstanding match, just the technical aspect, the storytelling aspect, the physicality of what you can all bring in that ring, whether it be traditional wrestling, whether it be slightly more a hardcore style, which we know a couple of these are very much accustomed to.
I generally don't listen to what anyone says, just out of the fact that, I am flattered and I know that you're as excited as I am for this. But I just know like what I bring to the table, and I know, and my level of confidence, especially over the last 6 months, has grown so much. I truly believe that I've finally come into my own, and just knowing who I am as a performer and as a person. And those are all, and that's all because of like the things I've been through and the levels that I've, cracked in my career. I know there's a lot of pressure, but I thrive under pressure. I've proved it over and over again. So, Emergence, it will be no different. And Ragnarok is going to be, and still, the world Knockout Tag Team Champions.
Why is it that the Impact Wrestling continues to set the standard for knockouts wrestling? I mean, I mentioned at the start, I said Impact Wrestling, it's been around 20 years now. And I think you can pretty much define Impact Wrestling into 2 phases. The first decade, I think, was pretty much built on the back of the X division. It's what was recognized for. But the past 10 years, it's very much been a case of the knockouts have been at the forefront. Why do you think Impact have given the knockouts this platform to perform, and they've never wavered at it? Really, they've always been there at the top of the card, there and thereabouts, while other promotions across the globe have really only the past 5 or 6 years taken that time to start their own revolutions.
I don't know what it is. Impact has just always been at the forefront, like you said, of giving women a platform. We are badass performers and athletes. We always have been. And Impact has just given us the chance to actually show it. There's wonderful and talented, amazing women's wrestlers across all these different promotions. But yeah, like Impact has so much more, has confianza. I'm thinking in Spanish right now. They just allow us to thrive, and they trust us. I guess trust is, and it sucks that we have to, as women, grit our nails and try to like prove ourselves constantly. But at Impact, they really respect our level of talent. They respect our level of passion. They see what we have. They know we bring it every single time, as it's been proven, in women main eventing pay-per-views and doing different things across the board. So I'm very thankful for Impact Wrestling to allow me to really show who I am as a performer and believe in me. And I just can't wait to bring this, into the future and keep representing Impact Wrestling, the Knockouts, and women's wrestling as a whole on this platform for years to come.
Speaking of platforms, the platform of choice just now, if you want to see wrestling at its finest, is Impact Plus. You can head on over there, subscribe right now, get ready for Emergence, which comes your way Friday, 12th of August. Of course, that's the early hours of Saturday morning here in the UK. We are going to continue talking to Taya straight after this. Welcome back to Med in the Morning. Thursday morning, we are talking with one half of the Impact Wrestling Knockouts Tag Team Champion, Taya Valkerie. Taya, are you still there?
Yes, hello.
I always have that panic in between when we play a song from the first part to the second part that I do something.
I hit a button by accident.
Hit a button. It's one of these things. People think being in radio is really easy. You just, you play, I was going to say, show my age here, play records and talk. It doesn't work like that. There's lots of buttons and you always have that panic. We were talking before about some of the amazing things that you have achieved in your career. You mentioned a word, history, and that's what Impact Wrestling has done. They've created history in the Knockouts division, and you've been involved in some pretty historic matches in your Impact Wrestling career. If I can just ask you for your thoughts on a couple of them that always stay in my mind. And of course, if you want to find out all about these, head on over to Impact Plus. So if we can go back, and I was scribbling through my notes here, February the 15th, 2019, Knockouts title street fight, Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah.
One of the most hard-hitting street fights I have ever seen. I have watched it time and time again. It is an amazing fight. And again, you two took it all out there. You put everything into that. And how do you prepare for something as physical as that?
I specifically remember this one because it was in Mexico City, which obviously was my home for a very long time. So I think I had an upped level of adrenaline and emotion on that day. I don't know I don't know if there's necessarily anything that I can pinpoint as being like how I prepare for it. I'm just always ready to leave it all out there, that is one of my favorite matches. I had, some of my longtime friends in Mexico in the front row taking pictures like they were my mom. Like it was great. It really was really magical. Also, the other match that really stands out for me is the 2019 Monsters Ball match.
Yes. Oh, and again, it's a level of physicality that you.
Oh, I love it.
But this is that you excel at it, and it's something that I think if you haven't been a fan of Impact Wrestling, if you haven't discovered Impact Wrestling, you probably wouldn't expect to see female athletes in that sort of physicality.
But why do people think that we can't do it? Like, that's what I'm talking about. See, Impact lets us, gives us this platform to really go out there and do exactly what we do. And those are, two matches, which are absolutely proof of that. The Girls Not Monsters Ball match, I mean, we left it all out there. That was so fun and hard hitting, like you said, and just, it was really a great feeling for sure.
After a match like that, how long does it take you to recover as such? Because I mean, you've got to be hurting after that.
Oh, totally. I mean, I think that it's like any wrestling match, the next day you're feeling like you've been hit by a truck. Let's be real, especially if you're getting on a flight. Oh my gosh. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just addicted to that feeling of just like, like craziness. It just makes me happy. And no matter the bruises, no matter the scratches, the cuts, whatever, I'm just so satisfied after something like that. So I don't know, like I think it depends on the match. It depends on a lot of factors, but you feel a little, on the fence about how you feel physically, but with that said, you have such little, you're satisfied with your performance. I retained the Knockouts championship that night. And so to me, that's all that mattered. And, hopefully in the future, Jordan Grace, I'm the longest reigning Knockouts champion of all time. Okay.
377 days.
So you never know. I think we need to do Monsters Ball too.
I would love to see that. I'll tell you what else I would love to see. And I really want to get your thoughts on this. One of the greatest things that has ever taken place, and not just in wrestling television, but in television, in my opinion, Wrestle House.
I love wrestling.
How much freedom and how much did you guys actually entertain that? Because obviously that was born out of necessity during the pandemic, coming into the pandemic. But I mean, I don't want to say how much of this, the conversation, everything else in there was planned, but you guys just seemed like you were having an absolute whale of a time.
It was super fun. Yeah, during the year of 2020, the year that we will never forget, we all had to find creative ways of making it work, and I think Wrestle House is an example of that. It was super fun. Everyone just knew what we had to do. Everyone just worked so hard and really wants to put out the best wrestling and entertainment that they can. So that was filmed in Chattanooga, and in the heat, and but it came out so good. And I'm sad I was not part of Wrestle House 2, but maybe we can convince them to be Wrestle House 3.
Well, I think I keep saying this when obviously I'm lucky enough to speak to a few of the Impact Wrestling superstars, and I think the things that we need to see more of, obviously, we've got Impact Plus there, loads of time for different things to go out on there. I definitely think there's call for that to be a recurring series. I definitely think
I'm putting my vote in. Let's do Wrestle House 3.
Could we ever see, and you mentioned your husband there before, would you ever consider doing a reality-esque type series? Absolutely.
We've talked about it before. Yeah, I absolutely would do something like that. Just because I feel like our life is so different and interesting and relatable, and also just completely unrelatable, that people would be entertained. And, I think we could beat Ms. and Mrs. in the ratings. It's true.
Most I would love to see that. There's just something, and again, when you see you on screen, and just now, just chatting here, as soon as your face lights up, it's just an amazing, genuine warmth of love for what you do. So it's absolutely fantastic. I know we are running out of time, so thank you for joining me. But there's one final thing I like to do with all the Impact Wrestling superstars. Are you up for a round of the name game? 5 names. I'm going to shout them out. I would like to know the first thing that jumps into your head. Are you up for this?
Oh gosh, I hope I don't.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
We'll try. I hope. Okay.
All right. I'll tell you what. I normally don't do this, but I'm going to say if there's a name that I shout out and you're uncomfortable with it, say pass, and we will move on and we will bring in a substitute name. This is the first time we've ever said this.
Okay? Oh, okay.
Okay, right. So for name number 1, D'Lo Brown.
Kindest teddy bear man.
I can kind of see that actually. Okay, next, Awesome Kong.
Badass.
Josh Alexander.
Canadian Superman.
Taylor Wilde.
Another Canadian Superwoman.
Cool. So far, 4 for 4. How will you react to name number 5, however? Johnny Bravo.
Oh, there's so many things I could say. Attempted murder victim.
Oh, if you want to experience the whole, see, now that is something we could take all those relevant clips from past episodes of Impact and put them together into a little mini series on Impact Plus. That is something we could do with that. Yes. Most definitely. Taya Valkerie and Rosemary going to defend their Knockouts tag team titles at Impact Wrestling Emergence live on Impact Plus Friday, August 12th. You can subscribe now to watch that and so much more, including new episodes of Impact Wrestling each and every week by heading over to impactwrestling.com and hitting on that plus button. Taya, thank you so much for taking the time. Good luck in your Knockouts tag title defense. And just enjoy the rest of 2022. It's been a fantastic year, and I know it's going to end even higher of that, I'm sure, with more gold in your future. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you for having me.